Hello happy people, my name is Diane McKendrick from dianemckendrick.com, and today I bring to you the topic of sleep. Through my years as a life coach, I have noticed that like 80 to 90% of the world don't sleep very well. And through my own experience with sleep and lack of sleep, particularly after I had children, I recognized and realized that there's some important tips about sleep that we haven't been taught. So I'm here to bust all the myths, break all the patterns, and teach you and remind you how to sleep well. Basically, if you're not sleeping well, everything else in your life, every other area of your life will be troubled. It's so much harder to be joyful and so much harder to be playful and fun and focused and driven when you're just feeling the blanket of tiredness and exhaustion over you. So let's dive deep into the topic of sleep today. I'm going to give you my top several tips and I'm going to help you get a restful night's sleep. So I think the first thing that we need to discuss is our language around sleep. When somebody says to you, "How do you sleep?" you're going to have an answer that you usually give every single time. Things I hear people say is like, "Oh, like rubbish. I woke up several times." No, not very good. So the first thing that we're going to do is change our language. We're going to trick our brain into believing that we actually slept really well. So the next time someone asks you, "How did you sleep?" I want you to smile and say, "Like a baby." Cut. No, babies don't sleep very well. My babies did not sleep well at all. The next time somebody asks you, "How did you sleep?" I want you to say, "So restful and so peaceful. Thank you for asking." So we're going to trick our brain into believing that we're sleeping well. The next thing I want you to realize is that sleep is a skill. Society has had us believe that sleep is just something you can do. But after my research and after my own experiences, I've realized that sleep is a skill. You need to learn how to do it. There's some things that you can do that if you do routinely and properly, that you are going to have a better night's sleep. Hear that again. Falling asleep and staying asleep is a skill and anybody can learn it. So we're going to change our mindset around sleep, we're going to change our language around sleep, and we're going to learn the skills it requires to sleep well. One of the skills you need to know straight up is that every single one of us do something to put ourselves to sleep. If you watch a baby fall asleep, you'll see them move their ankles, some of them will suck their thumb, or move their wrists, or they play with a tag or something. Even as an adult, we do something to put ourselves asleep. So at that bedtime routine, when you go to sleep, observe what you do to put yourself asleep. Then at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you wake up, like so many people do, you can just start to make that action and that will lull you back to sleep. That will rock you back to sleep. Another topic I'd like to discuss with you is, how did your parents sleep? If you have grown up hearing your parents say things like, "Oh, I had a terrible night's sleep," you are likely to take on their sleep story. It's handed down through our lineage from what we hear our parents say right when we're in the womb. Another thing that's happened with a lot of my clients is they didn't sleep well as babies because they woke up every 3 hours to have a drink, which is actually normal, to get fed, and they heard their parents say, "Oh, my child isn't sleeping," even from a really young age. If you've heard your parents tell the sleep story, "My child doesn't sleep," or "I don't sleep well," then you have put that in your brain and made that your truth. Now is time to change that. Let's learn to sleep better. So there's loads of sleep gurus out there. There's thousands of sleep books out there, but we've got to narrow it down to a few things that you can do every single night that become your habit and your routine. One of the most resourceful things you will ever get is a solid bedtime routine. Now, I'm really well known for mastering our morning, mastering our life, and so many of you come to me and said, "Di, I've mastered the morning now. What do you do before you go to bed? How do you sleep so well?" The first thing I want to do is bring awareness to how you know it's time to go to sleep. Every single one of us, every single night has a trigger that lights up and tells us it's time to go to bed. So many of us don't even know what that trigger is. So I want you to recognize it. Answer this question. How do you know it's time to go to bed? Take some time to recognize that, because that's the start of your bedtime routine. So when that triggers for me, it's usually a time-based thing or feeling for me. I'm ready to go to bed, I'm feeling drowsy, I'm feeling tired. I turn all the lights off, I don't have any fluoro lights on, I just have salt lamps. The next thing I would do to start winding down is go and clean my teeth. So I clean my teeth and the salt lamp is on and it's nice and quiet. The next thing I would do would be put my pajamas on, and I'm very aware of my internal chatter. I've closed the devices at least an hour before I go to bed, at least an hour before I go to bed, and do not have your phone in the bedroom. I intuitively choose essential oils that are going to help me feel relaxed and calm and help with my breathing. So two of my favorites is Vetiver, it's like a tranquilizer, so if you're not sleeping well, put that on your feet, and Easy Air because it helps you breathe, opens up your respiratory system. The better you breathe, the better you will sleep. So I apply my essential oils to the sole of my feet, and I also put them in my diffuser. The next thing that I will do when I crawl into bed and I've put my oils on is find a good book, something that can help me wind down. I've got a really good one for you if you want. It's called Rise Up, The Soulful Guide to Success. So keep a book beside your bed, and as you start to get into bed and you're getting more drowsy, you can read the book. Something else I find super helpful is to have a notepad and a pen beside my bed. So this busy brain that a lot of us get these days, you just get the notepad and the pen and you write it down. Anything that pops into your mind, you put it down onto the piece of paper, and then it's there for you to action tomorrow. So as I crawl up into bed and I've got my oils on and I've read my book, starting to feel drowsy, I get into the same position every single night to go to sleep. I have a fall to sleep position, and I recommend you all find out what your fall to sleep position is. Get in and start taking some nice big deep breaths. There's some breathing that we can do that will aid you in falling to sleep. It's deep yoga breathing, breathing in for 4, hold for 2, and then out for 8. In for 4, hold for 2, out for 8. So that's really helpful in helping you fall asleep. The next thing I do, if I'm struggling or I've got a lot on my mind and I haven't been able to fall asleep, is close my eyes and look up. So as you're just in sleep position, closing your eyes, you close your eyes and roll your eyes to your back of your head. I don't know if that's scientifically proven, but it works for me. And it's worked for everybody that I've given that as a little tip. So try it, get into sleep position, close your eyes, roll your eyes to the back of the head. So by now you're breathing really slowly, you've got your oils on and your eyes are rolled back, you've got your pen and your paper out so there's nothing in your mind. You should have a really good night's sleep. The other thing that I find happens for people is the 3 o'clock wake up. You wake up with a start at 3 o'clock in the morning. And if that's happening to you, quite often that's associated with your liver waking up to clean out your body. So there's some things we can do to support your liver. Basically think of it like this. It's like a vacuum cleaner started at 3 o'clock in the morning to come in and do the cleaning. So if your liver's struggling or you're detoxing, what will happen is it turns on and it's really hard to fall back to sleep. So we can look at some hormone balancing stuff for you as well. But when you wake up at that 3 o'clock, if you can't go back to sleep, go through the same process. Put your oils on, write the stuff down that's on in your brain, and roll your eyes back and make your movement, and you will fall asleep. All right, I want to know how many of you are laying in bed and scrolling through social media. And it's more of you than are actually going to be honest and say, me, I do it, because I've caught myself doing it and I'm so committed to health and sleeping well. But sometimes bad habits happen and I catch myself scrolling. So I know if I'm doing it, some of you are doing it. Now, social media is amazing for connection and supporting each other, and I've grown my whole global business on it. But guys, in bed, while you're trying to fall asleep or while you are falling asleep is not the place for social media. Get your phone out of the room and plug it in and charge it somewhere you can't see it, somewhere you can't hear it, and it's just completely out of your mind. Now, if you're finding you need extra support in falling to sleep, I have a range of sleep meditations, essential oils, and other things that I can help you with. So please go to the website www.dianemckendrick.com. If you've loved what you've heard today and you're already starting to implement stuff and you want more of this type of work and this information and support from me, go to www.dianemckendrick.com. I'm also on Facebook, Diane McKendrick, and Instagram, Diane McKendrick. Jump on there, follow, like, engage, and live your best life.